Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another bonus episode of the Missing Lynx. I guess this is kind of a dual episode. Missing Lynx and Missing Wolves post-game live stream podcast thing. I'm Andrew Dukowitz from Sports Illustrated and Zone Coverage. And today, Tim Miller from the Bulwark in one of the weirder crossovers I think I've ever had. Tim, how's it going, man?
What's up, Andrew? Thanks for doing it. I'm excited to do it, even though the Wolves have tortured my Nuggets over the past several playoffs. I'm a big boy. I got thick skin.
I mean, Ryan's already in the comments saying he wants to rehash the Nuggets offseason and crash out.
I've got a lot to say about that. I was a little annoyed. I was panicking looking through my drawers for Nuggets gear, and I do have the Nuggets locker room championship shirt, but I could not find it. And the quick pre-podcast, get ready with me, and because it is like the only, pun not intended, trump card that I have over you guys at this point is the actual trophy. So
yeah,
but I don't know that another one's coming.
I mean, we'll save the Nuggets talk for the end because I do want to give the WNBA the respect since they're in season. Sure. But Peyton Watson getting traded for nothing, Tim Hardaway leaving.
Dude. I'm apoplectic. I'm going to January 6th the Kroenke's house, I think, possibly. We'll talk.
I mean, there has to be more. There's like actual Denver fans out there. I was there for Game 6 last year. There's passionate fan base. I'm sure you could raid the house.
Well, I don't want to get in any trouble with Cash, but yeah, we definitely have the guys if that's the question.
Yeah, don't get Cash tweeting at you today. It's not even noon here Central Time. Tim, I have learned over the couple hundred podcasts I've done that flattery is the best way to welcome a guest. Okay. So I do want to give you a shout out and everyone over at the Bulwark when the ice occupation, and I mean it's still kind of going on here, but the majority of the occupation was going on here. You guys did 2 live shows in Minneapolis, raised over $60,000 for Second Harvest. I believe almost provided 500,000 meals to Minnesotans. And I just, first and foremost, thank you so much for doing stuff like that. Especially, there's a lot of people that sit there and say thoughts and prayers and, we're with you in Minnesota, but you guys actually came out here and did it. So thank you for that.
Man, I appreciate that a lot. And it was cool to be there. Pantage, how do you say the name of that theater? I can't remember the name. Pantages Theater.
Pantage.
Someone will tell me. It's a cool old theater in Minneapolis, and we were supposed to do one, but there's a ton of interest. We did 2 shows, a lot of stories, more money for Second Harvest, and I felt like I had to be there. I wanted to be there with y'all. It was moving. I mean, I'm kind of feeling it now, actually, just thinking about it, because just watching the videos online, I saw so many angles of the killing of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. And, we went and visited the memorial sites that were there. And then we went out to visit the protesters at the ice facility. I forgot to bring a coat, so I got a cold afterwards. And, man, I got to tell you, the boomer ladies out there got nothing but respect for them, just out there hour after hour, advocating for the people that were being detained, protesting. I don't know what kind of socks they had on, but I'm just nothing but respect for all the people in Minnesota that helped brush that back. And obviously, like you said, it's still ongoing, but it still is an important flashpoint.
Yeah, I guess just, you mentioned the respect you have for the boomer ladies and people out there for 7 hours in front of the Whipple building, providing food, rides. Yeah. I mean, what was kind of the lasting moments that you'll take away from that? Because you guys were out on the street meeting with people the entire time you were up here, right?
Yeah, I think that I just was talking to a couple of women that stand out in particular. They were, coming in every day from, I don't know if you call it a suburb or an exurb, across the border in Wisconsin, and kind of driving in every morning, taking their shift. They're telling me about what it was like for the people coming out of the building, who had been wrongfully detained. A lot of people kind of just didn't really know what had happened. like their resilience of the people that were out there helping folks stuck with me. Also, just like the stories of the tactics. I mean, like the way that the ICE agents were like tailing people and menacing people and sitting outside of schools, and just a lot of it was just so un-American. And it's like, whatever your opinion is about what should be done with people who came here illegally, like this is obviously not what should be done. This is not how we do things in a free country, where people that were here legally but just happened to be brown, like, were menaced. People that like came with the asylee process, through a legal asylee process, they're being chased down, like their kids are being grabbed in front of them. It was inhuman. It was police state behavior. And kind of hearing from the people that were like flagging that and alerting people that was happening was pretty moving.
Yeah. I mean, throughout most of that, I think we canceled a couple podcasts. I tried to keep this mostly just like a distractionary pod because, if you can give people 40 minutes of Wolves post game to drown out any
people need it, man. Hell yeah.
It's something. So I haven't really talked about like what it was like. At that time, I was still working full time as a home care nurse. So, I mean, there was... you go into a trailer park and there's like 7 cars all watching the entrances of the trailer parks. And then across from the ICE cars, there's just random neighbors like sitting there holding like no trespassing signs. And, I see quite a few patients in like the Vietnamese community up here. And the first couple weeks of the ICE stuff, they were kind of like, well, they're not going after our community. Right. And then after about 2 weeks, it was Vietnamese people start going missing. And it really was just, again, it's still happening to some extent. I mean, I still work part-time as a nurse, so I still have like interpreters and stuff like that that'll kind of brief me on things. But yeah, it's just an absolutely insane time. And shout out to Minnesota, right?
Shout out to Minnesota. It is still happening, just say, and it's happening to people that are following the rules now. And that's how they've changed their tactics, which is instead of kind of this more public display of going into places, they're nabbing people who show up for court dates. Yep. They're nabbing people who like did things the right way so that they're in the system and just going to their house or to their place of work. And so it's less visible. But it also means it's like even more the opposite of what they said about going after the worst of the worst. Like they're literally targeting people that like filled out the forms so the government knows where they are. It's terrible.
Yeah. Again, I have Vietnamese interpreters that I work with that also do, immigration stuff and courthouse stuff. And that's what they're saying too, is now they're not wearing tactical gear and they're just sitting in regular cars outside of courthouses. And, a little more paperwork has gone to it, but I don't know. I think the thing that I kept posting kind of throughout the entire thing is Prince had a quote with Oprah back when Prince was still alive. And Oprah asked him, why do you stay in Minneapolis? And Prince's quote was, because the cold keeps the bad people out. And if there's one thing that is just like a foundational Minnesota thing, is like, it's so terrible here weather-wise that like most bad people go to greener pastures.
Yeah. Okay. I'll buy that.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit of Lynx and WNBA here. Yeah. Hard shift. Have you become a WNBA fan yet? Because I feel like you've mentioned on a couple of your Bulwark pods that you've never really gotten into it, but now our worlds have collided. Are you invested yet?
I'm partially invested. I want to be, and so I don't want to do any stolen valor for real WNBA fans out there. When I moved to New Orleans like 3 years ago, my daughter is pretty good basketball player for an 8-year-old. So she was getting to basketball, and actually I was living in the Bay before that, and I tried to take her to some women's basketball games out there, and just like the vibes aren't that good in the stadium. Nobody goes to the games. And so we moved here. Like I immediately took her to an LSU women's game, and the vibes at the LSU women's games are unbelievable. I mean, it's old Cajuns just getting hammered, screaming, cussing, and you think you're at a football game, honestly. I mean, like it's packed in there. And I thought that was like, it was cool for me, but I thought it was also really cool for her. That was like, hey, this is something you could aspire to. Like you could play here and like have this kind of support for what you're doing. And so I got really into women's college basketball like the last 3 years. Um, and would watch WNBA games from time to time, but it's hard. Like if you don't have a team to like grab onto, like it's a little harder. Like I'll watch the playoffs, or like I'll watch a game if it's on, or I'll watch. Now that we got Angel Reese and Flau'jae, I'll watch some of the LSU players if they're on. And so I'm trying to get into a little more the storylines this year, not the storylines that are on Fox, but like the other storylines, like I do find kind of fun. Like increasingly there are enough characters now to draw me in. Like the idea that the Lynx would have maybe Dallas in the first round, and there's the draft drama around how you guys got Olivia, and like that's fun. And then whoever the Fever play will be fun, and I've got a lot of friends in the Bay still. They're into the Valkyries, so I wouldn't say I'm totally over the hump, but I know enough to be dangerous.
When you were mentioning it on the pods of like you just haven't gotten fully into it yet, I just kept thinking like you're the target demographic for WNBA. Like you watch college basketball, you're a Nuggets fan, you watch the NBA, and you have a young daughter. Like they should just be like feeding your algorithm 24 hours a day of just fun Courtney Williams and Olivia Miles clips, just nonstop injecting it into you. You watched the game last night. I guess just what'd you think overall?
I wanted to do podcast prep. I just want to say
podcast prep of not watching Aaron Rupar for like 20 hours on Twitter, but an actual basketball game.
Yeah, I got to do podcasts. I got to say to my husband, sorry, I got to watch WNBA tonight for podcast prep. Got to turn off Silo. Look, I watched both. I watched the Valkyries also earlier this week against Dallas. Like the games are fun, and like they're physical. The funny thing, like as it relates to like my world and the Fox world and all that, is like it is kind of hilarious to watch like the like pretend offense, like the people white knighting for Caitlin Clark or whatever. They're like, look at how hard she's fouled. I'm like, there are fucking hard fouls in all of these games. Like it's extremely physical, and so that's something that caught my eye. Olivia Miles, I didn't, and I guess I probably seen one game of her before last night, like, and then highlights. Like I'd watched like the TCU Elite Eight game. I think it was the only time I would have seen her. And like she is so smooth. Like that was actually the surprising thing or I don't know, surprising is not word, but the thing that was like the most noticeable to me is like she had one step back three that was just like unbelievable. It was just nasty. And like her fluidity, I do think sometimes people like say it's like kind of damning with faint praise. They say about the WNBA, like the fundamentals are so good. And like, there's a lot of, there's good bounce passes and the picks and the pick and roll. And there is like a little bit of that, like it's a little slower. And so like Olivia just jumped off the screen a little bit, just about, like her pure athleticism, in that was something that, to your point, like I don't know what exactly is happening with the WNBA marketing team, but like I should be getting micro targeted with like sick Olivia Miles highlight reels, like because it did grab me immediately. Then it's kind of funny, the Valkyries. The other thing I noticed is that there's like I mean, probably unintentional, but like the way that they mimic the Warriors, that like as a volume 3 shooting team is something that was like really noteworthy to me and kind of interesting. And Steph was at the game on Wednesday. The last time was Wednesday. The game I watched earlier in the week against Dallas, and that stadium is rocking. And I watched a couple of clips from the Lynx games, and that stadium is packed.
Yeah, I mean that's the Lynx. I want to say they're at 3 straight over 14,000 in attendance. They've been in the 10 to 12,000 all season. Really, it's more of the Lynx, just like management ownership group, haven't been opening the full upper bowl. They've been getting like capacity fill outs, or not seating capacity sellouts for most of the season, which honestly, that's been over the 3 years I've been on the beat. That's been the thing that's been the most fun, is you watch like one curtain go down and then all of those seats are filled for the next game. And then you see another curtain go down and they're all filled again, which
that's cool.
Lynx fans I talk about quite a bit. If they're just insane. Like the reason I can have a hyper focused WNBA podcast is because Lynx fans are insane. But yeah, it's with Olivia Miles. That's been the most mind boggling thing for me is I just don't understand how she's not leading Sports Center some of these nights where she's having like no look passes behind the back to Kayla McBride for 3. And it's like, that should at least be on the top 10 plays. That should be what we talk about, but it
and
just
she has
rarely
superstar
is.
energy. And just as a rookie, like I said, I have caught because I love Flage. I've got her in Seattle, and she was I forget what pick she was in the draft, but like she was a top 10 pick, and it takes a minute. Like you can tell, like she's feeling her way around. Like bigger, older women, more athletic, and she's doing pretty good. And the Storm is at the bottom of the standings, but like Olivia, it was like there's the opposite. Like there's no like sense that she looks like at all. Like she's still feeling her way out, that there's an athleticism or maturity gap or any of that. Like, I mean, I guess besides maybe Defisa, like at least again, I'm making this on a small sample size of games I've watched. Like she seems as in control of the game tempo as anybody. It's truly like it's really impressive, and like the idea that they could win this year, with her as
Right?
like the leading scorer as a rookie. Like that's a crazy story. And I do that was you kind of you mentioned it, but I did a rant in the politics podcast a week or two ago where I was just like, I don't want to hear from anybody's takes on the WNBA if you don't at least know who Olivia Miles is, because I think that's a lot of people that they just know Caitlin Clark and Sophie now. Like maybe they know Aja, probably not. Maybe they know Angel Reese because she's the villain in the Caitlin Clark story, but like that's it. Like they don't know anybody else, and it's like Olivia. And Caitlin's obviously been great, but she's a couple years in now. Like Olivia, year one is, potentially, who knows, potentially Finals MVP. I don't know. I don't want to jinx you guys, but
I mean, I think they have minus odds right now in Vegas to win the finals, which is like
I saw a
insane.
Bill
I
Simmons
mean, when
tweet
you're
about
saying
that.
it's an over 50% chance that the Lynx are going to win the finals, that's.
Can you explain to
insane.
me how it happened? I'm sorry. Obviously, the people on the Lynx after game pod will all know this story. So if you just indulge me for 1 minute,
Oh, of course.
Because I don't literally I didn't pay attention to the draft except to the extent of I wonder who's going to get Flage like that, and on draft night, like I looked at it, I was like, oh, she's going to the Storm, cool, and that was it. So like I didn't like read the pre-draft ranking. Like I don't understand like how Minnesota, who's in the semis last year, how did you have the second pick? Why were you shocked when Olivia dropped, or not really? Was it a legit like just what happened there?
So backstory on getting the second overall pick. Okay. In the Angel Reese draft, the Chicago Sky picked 1 pick after the Lynx. Okay. So Chicago traded the rights to the pick that would be Olivia Miles to move up 1 spot to draft Angel Reese.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, tough.
And then especially because she's on the Dream now. She's not even on the team still. Yikes.
Talk about a whiff. Chicago also doesn't own their pick this year. It's going to Washington. So like that's just when you talk about like teams that just aren't run well, it's the Chicago Sky and then large gap to anyone else. But so the Lynx get this pick because they made that trade a couple of years back. They ended up not kind of whiffing on the player that they picked after Angel Reese, but this was kind of the pick of like, okay, we can reset our team. This is the big asset we have. Now, this last offseason, the WNBA gets a new CBA, and over 80% of the league was free agents, which hasn't really happened in any professional sport. So the Lynx, with this new CBA, lost 9 out of their top 12 rotation players. Just
oh my god.
Okay. They retained 4 total players from last year. And if you include like Dorka Juhas, who was playing overseas last year, they have 5 players on the team that have been on this team during this kind of mini run where they go to the finals. They lose in the semis last year. They kind of just bring
Who
back
were
the
any
vet.
of the good players, the ones they kept? Like who
Yeah.
was on the team?
So
Yeah.
so Nafisa signed a
Nafisa, yeah.
1-year deal to stay here, kind of
Okay,
let's see which direction this franchise is going.
got it.
I'll give you guys a year to prove it that I can stay here, right? And then Courtney Williams and Kayla McBride are kind of the like most bought in Lynx culture veterans. They're both multi-time all-stars. They decide to play. And then a 20-year-old Ola Kosu, who doesn't get to see the court, also is here. So they go into the offseason kind of whiffing on all of the major free agents. They end up bringing back Natasha Howard, who was just kind of driven to the airport out of town after last season with Indiana. Nia Coffey, their sixth player, is pretty much just, she was almost out of the league. Minutes were decreasing every year in Atlanta. And they draft Olivia Miles. And before the season, the vibe was like, okay, if they can get in as an 8 seed and Fee is fully healthy, we'll see what they can do in the playoffs. But this is going to be kind of a year of discovery, I think Cheryl called it, or a year of kind of finding out. And what happened is training camp hit and everybody went, holy shit, Olivia Miles might be the best player in the league. Courtney Williams handed over the point guard keys. Kayla McBride's like, you're the leader now. Fee is like, I'm out with ankles. This is your show. And they've been just ripping off wins. It's interesting.
So on the draft board, so like,
yeah.
So who were you expecting to get, Olivia, or was the thought that she was going to go to Dallas 1? Like what was the?
So I never thought they would even take Liv. Cheryl Reeve has never had a rookie point guard in her entire career as head coach of the Lynx, and her point guards are usually like late 20s, 30-year-olds, people that can handle getting yelled at constantly. So I just looked at Liv and was like, oh, well, they're not drafting a point guard. I kind of assumed it would be either AZ or Awa Pham that would go to the Wings, and then the Lynx would take whoever's left, which I was a big AZ fan coming out. Like, she's just really good shooter, good defender, good person. And Cheryl just said, hey, we think Liv has a generational skill. We're going to go with the generational skill. And she's been kind of cackling about it ever since.
That is crazy. I wonder what the, do you think that there's something about just like, did she just go, God, I'm going to sound like Bill Simmons. Did she just go up a level? Or like, is there something about draft, like the WNBA where it's a little bit behind the NBA and kind of like identifying this kind of stuff with, advanced metric scouting, etc. I just like, you don't really, and like these kind of misses happened a lot in the NBA like 10 years ago, but like haven't really lately. And I'm wondering why it happened here.
I think with Liv, she's on this kind of super team with Notre Dame, blows out her leg, transfers to BYU, TCU, not BYU, different Christian university. Anyways, goes to TCU, and there's just like obvious flaws in her game. Like, she had one good season in college shooting from 3. I don't think anyone thought she would just walk on the court and be a 40% WNBA 3-point shooter. And her defense was terrible. Like, it was just terrible, which, again, if you're the Wings, you have Paige Beckers, you have Arike, you have a team that kind of already has guard depth. Like, let's get AZ in there, aside from the like interpersonal relationship drama of, do we want to draft Paige's girlfriend? But like, yeah, we want to get someone in there. With Awa Pham, it's like she's a 19-year-old 6'8" center. Like, hard to pass that up. And Liv, I think, had this cult following of like, oh no, she's going to be awesome, just wait. But the general consensus was kind of, she's probably going to be like 3 or 4, maybe in Seattle. But again, Cheryl, if there's one thing that Cheryl has shown over and over again, is just she can just kind of see in a person if they're going to work out. And she just talked about like the character of Liv. Both of her parents are engineers. She's already graduated. I think she has a master's already. Like, hey, this is someone we want to tie our boat to, which for Lynx fans, it's awesome because now you have Nafisa Collier.
Also had in that draft like, didn't you had Lauren Betts was in the draft too, right? I mean, they
Yeah.
just won the championship. Is she doing well in the WNBA?
Not really. Lauren Betts is an interesting one. I compared her going in as kind of like Rudy Gobert, where it's like you
Got it.
have to run a certain kind of defense, and offensively she's pretty limited. But if it works, it'll work. It's just, yeah, it was a
I'm
fun
just
song, I'll
traumatized.
say
She
that.
beat LSU. This is my frame of reference is she beat LSU in 2 straight tournaments. So I was like, you know, limited knowledge.
Also,
well, I don't know. It's
looking
amazing.
really
I mean, again, like watching Liv is just like I did the level of offensive playmaking and athleticism is really fun to watch. So
DeMarc
hopefully,
says,
and I guess the league probably what would happen. Probably she will come into consciousness. This is kind of the sad reality of affairs about the way the league is if you play the Fever. Like if you draw the Fever in the playoffs, and there's Caitlin, and people can kind of set up Caitlin versus Liv and put Liv in kind of the angel slot as the foil. That's probably the path to more broad fame.
DeMarc mentions Liv has a master's in nonprofit administration. So she is at 23 years old. She has like 7 years more college than I did at 23 years old. I mean, that's the fun part with Liv is I think she is like uniquely designed to be the perfect villain and like the perfect, like, show your daughter this player of like, hey, she's authentic. She wears the afro. She's always hyping up her teammate. She's like awesome in huddles. And then she also is like third in the league in techs and like routinely screams for F and B's to get off her court and is just awesome as a trash talker. So I honestly, we were talking about it quite a bit last night after the post game live, was just if they can draw Indiana, one, that's probably their best path because Indiana just, sorry to CC fans in here, they're not very good defensively, and I don't know how they fix that. But also a 5-game series with Caitlin Clark lining up against the Lynx. A lot of Iowa people are going to come up here for games. I think it'll just be a blast.
I'm pulling for it. That might be the thing to officially suck me in. It's tough. The thing holding me back.
That'll be the one.
I'm the podcast host, so I'm gonna do your transition for you. The thing holding me back from just adopting the Lynx as my WNBA team is the association with the Wolves, and you know, just can't do it. Can't get there, unfortunately.
Well, let's talk Wolves. I'm going to throw us over to a quick ad read or two. When we come back, we'll talk Wolves, though. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. Real quick, Rebecca is asking, Cheryl Reeve targets that didn't work out as personality fits. People in the chat, I'm not going to name names because I just not going to do that. But if people want to rifle off the names that didn't work out for Cheryl Reeve because of personality fits, I feel like they're pretty well known. They've blown up spectacularly. Tina also says you can love one without the other, or Tim, declare it Lynx fan. #1 Lynx fan.
Okay. I'm open to it.
I don't know if that's true because Jaden McDaniels just, I mean, what's going through your head when Jaden names every player on the Nuggets and calls them bad defenders?
Clocked, I guess. I mean, he alphaed us, and we just lost our best defender last night, which we'll get to. But yeah, man, I have this internal turmoil a little bit, and it's so nice that you still have Rudy Gobert that helps me resolve it, which is I love Ant. I love Ant.
Yeah.
Like Ant, just if you're if I was one of those Gen Z kids that like don't have NBA teams because that's how they do it, they just follow players. Like Ant might be my player that I follow. Like he is so likable. A couple homophobic jokes in the past, but it seemed like it was in good spirits. And I give people, I give people a pass.
I don't know if they were in good spirits, but okay.
Okay, maybe not. I don't know. A little fun, some fun loving. Yeah, he was 20. I didn't take it.
A girl.
I didn't take it with malice. Maybe that's wrong. I gave him a pass. He's just so likable for me, and his game is so fun to watch. LaMelo, like, has been my NBA crush for a while now. Like, does he lead to winning basketball? We'll talk about that. But just I the Hornets were like my East Coast League Pass team. And I'm sitting around like making dinner, getting ready for tomorrow's pod, like, and it's, whatever, it's earlier in the night. Like I had the Hornets on in the background a lot because I just love watching LaMelo. And a lot of those guys con. So he's likable. Jaden, I mean, did I hate him in the middle of the combat last year while he was alphaing us and trolling us and dominating Jamal Murray and making him into his little, what? Like, yeah, like I hated him in the moment, but like objectively, like you see a guy I would love to have on my team, like absolutely, and like his competitiveness, his athleticism, talking about like Liv, like he's just like really fun to watch. So it's a fun team. And Tim Connolly, our former GM, like made the team to be a Nuggets killer, and he did it successfully. And our fucking dumbass owners like let Tim Connolly walk within the division, and then replaced him with a bunch of, kind of C-list cheap option player personnel executives. And this is what you get. Tim Connolly created a Nuggets killer. He didn't create a championship team in Minnesota, but he did create a Nuggets killer. And I do think that some of the changes in the offseason were kind of acknowledging that the team maybe should be oriented less around beating the Nuggets and more around the other Spurs and Thunder. But anyway, so luckily Rudy is still there to hate. And so I can like channel all of my hate fire at Rudy. I hated him when he was on the Jazz. I hate him now. And so the rivalry to me, really kind of he is kind of the main inflection point to the rivalry.
Is it
I also don't like Chris Finch and his whiny face. First,
let's address the Rudy. Is it because he like started COVID and believes in like crystal healing and is problematic, or is it basketball related?
It's basketball related. It's whining. It's French. He's French. It's part of it. Okay. But the I had pure hate fire. So the Nuggets kind of rival. I don't know if rival's the right word, but like the team that we kept encountering kind of during the Jokic rise before the championship was the Jazz. Like we played the Jazz. Obviously,
Jamal Murray. It was the coming out party.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a very pure rage and hate fire for that Jazz team with Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Gobert. There was none of the soft feeling that I have for Ant in that squad. And even growing up, I did, the Stockton Malone Jazz, again, were they rivals? Not really, but they're in our division. Growing up in Denver, like you're playing them a lot. So Utah's easy to hate, all the whites. And anyway, Rudy, I think coming up as a Jazz made that easier. But he just doesn't have the likability for me.
Yeah.
And watching every press conference. I'm sure, every human has some redeemable traits. Maybe there's some stuff I'm not seeing that he does in the community, but he's an easy person to see as a foil.
I'm always torn because I like Rudy as a person, like getting to know Rudy over the last 2.5, 3 years. Delightful guy, big Harry Potter fan, makes fun of my Hufflepuff tattoo. Like, there's some charm to him, but he is probably the most hated player that isn't like all-star, all NBA caliber.
Yeah.
In the league. There's not a lot of cheers for him.
No.
I don't know. Rudy, though, it might be next offseason he gets traded. Is that just when you jump ship on the Nuggets and finally come over?
I'm never jumping ship. No, Nuggets is I come from a basketball family. We had tickets growing up. My dad played basketball. My brother, I wasn't that good at it, but I wanted to be. My brother played. I'm coaching my daughter's girls team. So like we're basketball. I've like when we moved to New Orleans, I'm getting a little softer on the Broncos. I'm rooting for them, but like I'm going to let my daughter become a Saints fan, and be more, this is a big Saints town down here. So no, I will never abandon the Nuggets. And honestly, the Wolves are just unforgivable. I mean, like I really, if you listed like the worst nights of my life, like whatever it was now, 3 years ago, Game 7, the year after we won the championship, we're going for the repeat. Dallas had just upset, I forget who, in the semi, and so Dallas was going to be, that's who you ended up playing in the Western Conference Finals. We're up, whatever it is, 19 at halftime. I can picture. I have a little TV, like a little outside TV for myself for when the weather's nice. I'm watching on my outside TV. I have like my laptops up. I've got my monitoring Trump, whatever fucking craziness is happening over here. Then on the other one, I've kayak up looking at Dallas flights. Because like as New Orleans, it's like Dallas is right there. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to buy tickets. Game 3, whatever it was. Like it was over. Like we had won the championship last year. We were up 19, and I was already measuring the drapes, and that comeback in the second half, where we just ran out of gas, and it was the defensive. And this is why Jaden could shit talk us this year, right? Because it was just even that. Oh, I guess Jaden had broken his hand, so he wasn't in that. And that was that right?
Yeah,
was he not in that Game 7? He'd broken his hand.
Yeah, no, it was the year before that Jaden wasn't in there. It was the year before with like the
year we
Rudy
won.
Gobert gets punched in the throat. Ant throws a chair at somebody. Like,
that's right. We won the year that Jaden's hand was broken. You're right. So Jaden's in there. We've had so many playoffs now; they all blend together. So many battles, but Ant and it is because now that I'm thinking about it, like it's Ant and Jaden just shut down Jamal. Like Jamal can't even get the ball up the court, and it's like literally it's like watching a high school basketball game between like the team that has all the athletic AAU kids and like a bunch of like kids who are just like neighborhood players. Like that's what it was like. Like they couldn't even get it like to the up past the timeline. They were just suffocated, and the wheels come off, and the hope for repeat is dashed for variety personal reasons. We did not get to go to the parade the year before when the Nuggets won the parade, so I was already like, like in my head, I'm like buying Dallas tickets. I'm thinking about how I'm going to bring my daughter to the parade in June, and like you took that all from me, and so I will never have anything but ill feelings about the Timberwolves.
I mean, it's so funny that the Wolves and Nuggets are like the rivals because I feel like they're similar teams. Where it's like you guys had Carmelo, we had KG, we both kind of had this really flashy thing that it just never paid off. Before Melo, it's like LaFonso Ellis and Antonio McDyess. Like it's just purgatory. The Wolves have been in purgatory. It feels like these fan bases should have like a kinship more than just despise each other. But like Wolves fans hate Nuggets fans. Like when those series are going on in the playoffs, like my comments and replies are just like heinous hatred between Wolves and Nuggets fans. And it's like
there's something about that second tier hatred. You know what I mean? we're second tier cities. There's something about that.
Exactly.
It's like a family feud. It's like I also hate the Lakers, but it's kind of hard to like really develop like a totally full, and like your entire body hate,
Yeah.
fire, rage for the Lakers, because it's like, I know the Lakers had magic, like they had all these titles. What are the little Nuggets? Like it's a little bit of a David and Goliath thing. It's like with the Timberwolves, it's like whatever, David and Dan, like you're on our level, and it's like we need to fucking take you out in order to make it to the next level. And so I think that there's part of that as well. And the playoff, it's just been really intense. The playoff, the whole things have been intense. I mean, in some ways, the only nice thing the Timberwolves ever did for us, if you go way back to the beginning of kind of this era of the rivalry starting, is that game 82, where the Timberwolves get into the playoffs. We don't, we needed to beat the Timberwolves to get the 8th seed or whatever. Yep. Don't get into the lottery, end up getting MPJ.
Jokic in the corner. Yeah, that was
close game, great game.
Who end up getting from that?
MPJ.
Oh,
had we made it to the playoffs, not in the lottery, probably don't get MPJ. Who knows? Maybe he still drops to us. But like, so the title, like that loss in some ways was key as part of getting the title. So that was the one loss I don't have hard feelings about. But I don't know. The Chris Finch's face is really what it comes down to. Also.
Chris Finch is like my favorite person.
He's such a whiner. He's such a
delightful man.
He's such a whiner. Working the refs, whining, bitching. Win something. Win something.
Jaden called the entire team bad, and then the head coach of Denver. I was at that media conference where he's like, "We don't really care what Jaden says," and it's like, well.
He was right.
Maybe you should care what Jaden
the thing going around Nuggets Twitter right now is like there was, I guess, I forget, I don't know what it's from, but there was some viral either video or comment about DiVincenzo and Ant doing wheelchair basketball in the locker room, talking about how they do a sick wheelchair basketball team. And like somebody in Nuggets Twitter retweeted that with, the Nuggets lost this game where these two guys are playing wheelchair basketball in the locker room. And so Jaden can shit on us if he wants. So I don't know. The only hope I have for this year is that like that emasculation like results and a kind of drive and rage for the players around Jokic to to do what is necessary, to not let that humiliation happen again. I just don't know if we have the guys, like the athleticism.
Are you surprised they didn't? Like when again, I was at that game at game 5 or 6, whatever one was out in Denver. And after the Wolves, like, I think they lost that game, then they won the next one back at home. So it would have been game 6. So after that game 5, they're like, if the Nuggets lose, like even Nuggets reporters were like, if they lose to the Wolves here after they finish the season going on like a 12-game winning streak, Wolves are their rivals. There's no Ant, there's no Dante. Io's scoring 50 points for some reason. Like if they lose this series, it's just over. I mean, they were convinced like Jamal's gone, Cam Johnson's probably getting traded, coach gets fired.
That's what I thought.
And like none of that happened. They end up just kind of letting all of their key bench players leave.
I'm gonna run it back. There's no argument for, like, the only argument for running it back is that AG was hurt, and he's so key to the team, really, both defensively and offensively, and he's the best defensive player. He kind of makes the Jokic ball offense work and makes it something that's not just this one-dimensional Murray Jokic two-man game, which is really great, but like there are limits to that, which we saw very plainly in the Wolves series. And so that's, I guess, the argument internally, and that the Cronkies are cheap. I don't see any other argument for running it back. I love Jamal, but I was in like if you have to trade Jamal, you have to trade him camp. I mean, like they looked so outmatched athletically. I mean, the cynical argument is that Jokic won, I think, 54 games and got I think a playoff round even with Facu Campazzo and Austin Rivers in the starting lineup. Okay.
Yep.
So like Jokic is so amazing that this team can be a 4 seed in the West and have the kind of success that a lot of Nuggets teams in the past never had with just status quo. But it's like, is that what we're trying to do? Just like is like you're going to waste a year of Jokic's prime, having them get 4th place. You hope they draw a more favorable draw in the first round, and then you lose in the second round. Like that's the ceiling. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think that Josh Kroenke, like I think that they have their guy. I think that they like Adelman. I think that they didn't want to spend a lot of money. But there's no sympathy for this for me. And they bought this team for like $250 million. Like
that's
the team is
part.
worth
it's
$5 billion.
$3 billion now.
5, I would say. And the Timberwolves sold for 5, right? I don't know. I think probably 4 at least. I don't know. I had one of their fucking. I got into a Twitter fight with the sideline reporter last night. That's where I'm at on the Peyton Watson thing. I'm so annoyed because he was
Katie?
like, I don't know why.
Wings?
No, not Katie. We love Katie. More like the
Katie,
studio sideline
reporter. Don't be mean to Katie. She's nice.
No. Vic Lombardi. He's more like the studio guy. Sometimes sideline.
Vic Lombardi's fine. One of our big podcasters out here, Dane Moore, just kind of undressed him in the playoffs for. I think he went on the radio and said all the Minnesota reporters were bad reporters because we didn't ask Jaden what specifically made the Nuggets bad defenders. And
he's just such a homer for fucking yourself. Such a homer for management. It's just like he was like, I don't know why Nuggets fans are surprised, like they are in the second apron. And I was like, we don't know why they're surprised that we draft a guy, we develop him for 4 years. Like he has the biggest upside 2-way potential on the team. Peyton Watson. Maybe Peyton Watson ends up being. We don't really know, right? Like he had one really good
trade chip though, and you got nothing.
Yeah,
like that's what's mind blowing to me is like you salary dumped a guy you had team control of.
Yeah,
like that's insane.
It's totally insane. And then Vic replies to me, he's like, what, you want them to pay $174 million tax? I'm like, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's Jokic's prime. The team valuation has gone up for $5 billion. Don't they have an obligation to Jokic and the community to try? Like, what I really would like is that they didn't get themselves in this fucking financial situation where they had to pay $170 million tax to keep Peyton Watson. But like, if that's what they have to do, like that's preferable than this trading for a kid that's in 8th grade right now.
Yeah.
Like, well, Jokic is 31.
Jokic might be retired by then.
Yeah, certainly might be. Yeah, certainly could be.
It's weird because the Wolves fans are very hard on the Alex Rodriguez, Mark Lowry like ownership group. And like, I get it. The Cat trade, that was essentially like, hey, we got to reset our books.
That hurts.
Maybe they win a championship with Cat. Julius Randle fizzles out, kind of blows their OKC series also last year.
At the time, that felt defensible.
Right. But like, even at this point, it's like if they kept Cat, you're not re-signing like IO. You're losing Nas. Like the money side of it is frustrating. But even the Wolves, they're I think like $3 million under the second apron right now. Like they're paying a massive repeater tax bill. They've been in the tax every year they've owned the team. They're now in the highest repeater level of that. And like the Cronkies have more money than A-Rod and Lowry. So it just doesn't make sense to me.
And whatever, not to be a popular socialist or whatever, but the Cronkies didn't even earn their fucking money. It's Bud Walton's son-in-law. All right. So it's like, fuck you. Okay. Spend your money. All right. And it's enough to make me full Bernie, honestly. It's just like, spend your money or I'm going to take it from you. I hope the socialists congresswoman in Denver, convinces the mayor to do a pied
money.
Yeah. I want a pied terror tax just on their apartment in the stadium. 300%. It's like, okay. And it's like, Josh is the grandson. Like you're a Nepo grandson. You've done nothing.
That's tough. That is tough.
You've done nothing. You fucked up. And so it's like, okay, I'm sorry, but like, you should resign. And like my view is, okay, if you're telling me then that you can't pay this tax, it's too much, it's punitive, then it's like, okay, well, that means that you've mismanaged the team so bad that you should hire a professional and not hire the Nepo grandson of Bud Walton.
I mean, you're speaking to Twins fans' heart right now. Like the whole lad that owns the Twins right now is the Nepo grandson. I stand firm by the only thing the Polads have done well or right by the Twins is I don't know if you knew this. Donald Trump and the Pohlads, those were the only two people like going for the Twins, and the Pohlads outbid them. So like the only thing that they did was
keep Donald Trump out of Minnesota.
Exactly.
No, maybe if he'd owned the Twins, he wouldn't run for president. Yeah, good point.
And that's a sliding doors moment where the Twins are just gold. Oof. But yeah, it's the same issue with the Twins, where it's just like you guys aren't paying salaries despite having like billions of dollars. The team is valued at X amount. Like, just sell the team. Take the $5 billion and go buy a small island or something.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I think that the players screwed themselves with this whole repeater text thing, and I get that the league wants more parity, and there's something to that. I mean, like, the league has been really fun lately, so at some level, it's like everybody bitches about the league, and then it's like, okay, well, I mean, last year's playoffs was like the best playoffs in a decade. There's something to be said for the fact that there's been a lot of different title teams recently. Keeps a lot of different markets interested. But like, balance in all things, man. It's just like it sucks for teams and communities. Like, if you can't, it sucks for you guys. You can't keep Nas. And like, it sucks for us that we can't keep P-Watt. It's like you've created a system that's like that's too onerous. And you have the owners doing this to protect themselves. Like, the owners created this system where they did this penalizing tax bill so that they can do the things like Vic Lombardi said, which is saying, what do you want us to do? Spend 170 million? It's like, well, guys, actually, you set up the system. You could have set up the system where the penalty wasn't that great, or whatever, like, or it was like the old Bird rule or whatever that allowed, whatever was it, the Bird rule, whatever the rule was, that like allowed people to go over to keep their own guys because you wanted continuity. I think there are a bunch of stuff they could have done. They didn't do it. This is the system now, and now we're salary dumping like the best defender and only upside player on the team during Jokic's prime. And I'm honestly gonna have a stroke if we talk about it much more.
I feel an aneurysm coming up for you. You take a nap before the next recording. I mean, I would just add on this. The thing that's, to me, that's so frustrating is like, this was an overreaction to basically Steve Ballmer and the Clippers being able to just trade for anyone, re-sign them, blow through whatever luxury tax, and Steve Ballmer and the teams that have like the wealthiest owners kind of look at it and just say like, all right, well, whatever. I want to win a championship. Money is nothing to me. So the owners and the Players Association make this like Abram system where now the teams are getting punished. It's not just owner's wallet. It's if you're in that second apron for too many years, you start losing draft picks. You lose the ability to sign and trade. All of these penalties get thrown on top of it. And it's exactly what you said. It's literally just because they want to make it so that owners can't overspend, which I don't know. I think this CBA, a lot of it's going to get just torn up the next time it comes around.
So, yeah, definitely. But, you see it, you understand also, like, they're making unbelievable amounts of money. The team values are going up. The players are making more money than ever. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you're just looking at this from a financial perspective, like they're like, okay, whatever, podcasters complain all you want. But like, from a financial perspective, things are good. I think that like, not everything is P&L, and like you have to think about like long-term stability, and like look at Nike right now, like there's like there was a while where they're like, everything's great, stop complaining about what you're complaining about, and then all of a sudden it's like, like things can happen if you screw up the brand too much. Yeah.
All right, Tim. Anything else you wanted to get off your chest before we get out of here?
Nothing else to get off my chest. I do want to shout out, because you're in Minnesota, for anybody who's still listening, my guy Justin Jefferson. That is my dude.
LSU.
And you guys are so lucky to have him on the Vikes. And he was, I guess, I think he's probably my favorite LSU player ever.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't hear that a lot, because he was just kind of like a slot receiver. Like that was
but he was a slot receiver on the greatest team of all time. And he's from Louisiana. Yeah. Brothers played on the team. And so like he knew him. 2-star, I think. 2-star or 3-star, low rated recruit. Like really was kind of like an end of the roster type recruit. And he just like evolves into like a monster. I mean, again, Jamar Chase is the like main receiver, but he evolves into like a monster on this team, and he brought so much joy to the team, and the gritty, the locker room stuff, to get the gap. I mean, a lot of that stuff is like him like infusing his like joy and Louisiana culture into the team. And so anyway, I got nothing but love for that guy. I hope that like Tyrann Mathieu, he ends up as like a late career Saint, so we get him back. But enjoy him while you got him.
He's awesome. Goes to a ton of Wolves and Lynx games, sits courtside. He's like locked in too. Yeah. Like no one's talking to him. He's actually just there to watch hoops and not be seen. Doesn't get put on the Jumbotron most of the games he goes to. Like those are the dudes where it's just like, he's just there to watch hoops, and
respect,
those guys
dude. He's awesome. A real one.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. All I got, man. I appreciate everybody. Good luck. We'll see y'all next year. Hopefully I can, turn my mood around about the Nuggets because I need it. The thing, I guess this will be the last thing I'll say. Now you got me. And one more thing.
No, it's fine.
Like
it's
Jokic
fine.
was
I'm all for I'm all for the Nuggets crash out.
Yeah. I know there's some Nuggets haters there. I saw a couple in the comments, which I get. And Jokic haters. Like Jokic and my daughter saved me. I guess I should say my daughter and Jokic, but like they both came right as Trump came into my life. Yep. Like it was like when Trump wins in 2016, my brother, who is like the only bigger Nuggets fan than me, it's like early that year. So it's first couple of months. I've been in campaign mode, hadn't really been watching early season stuff. And he's like, dude, we got this guy coming off the bench. It's unbelievable. Jokic. And he's like, I think that you should I'd gotten off League Pass because I was too busy. And he's like, I think you should get back on League Pass. And so for Christmas that year, he got me like League Pass for Christmas. And, Trump inauguration is like 2 weeks later in 2017. And like, I watched like the emergence of Jokic, and I've watched basically 82 games the whole era. And it has been like my escape. And so like watching them kind of rise and then win the title. And then even these last couple of years have been more painful. It's like, it's been a wonderful break from the reality, like you said, about your 40 minutes. And so I think it adds a little bit to my rage about the Cronkies that they're like taking this from me. Like, it's like attached a little bit. It's not just even fandom. It's attached a little bit to like, this is like my thing,
I think that's very similar to what Wolves fans feel with Ant. I mean, he comes out of the pandemic. You're stuck in your home all the time, and you're just seeing this like hyper joyous, kind of like innocent buffoon, just kind of go on TV and say that, he could be the best swimmer in the world if he put his mind to it, or golfer or baseball. And it's that joy of it, which honestly, like that's why sports are awesome, right? It gives you that break.
All right. Well, if people want to not break and deal with the drudgeries of reality, my podcast is every day, the Bulwark Daily. Come hang out. I appreciate it, Andrew.
I appreciate you, Tim.
If we're in the playoffs next year, we'll do it. We'll do it again if we have another playoff matchup.
Hey, welcome here anytime. If the Nuggets are like 10-31 and you just need to sound off for 20-30 minutes, like you're always welcome.
All right. I appreciate it, brother.
Awesome.
We'll see everybody. Thanks for watching.
For anyone that did this late, the full episode will be up on YouTube as soon as I hit end record. As always, it'll come out tomorrow at 7 a.m. as a podcast, anywhere you get your podcasts. And for Tim Miller, I'm Andrew Dukowitz. We'll catch you after the Mystics game tomorrow night.